The mysterious visitor. In the quiet village of Terran's Edge, nestled deep in the mountains, life was simple and peaceful. The villagers lived off the land, farming and hunting, and their community thrived on cooperation and trust. But all that changed one evening when the sky was torn apart by a thunderous roar, and a brilliant flash of light lit up the night like a second sun. A young woman named Ilara, known for her curiosity and adventurous spirit, was the first to spot the strange object that had landed in the nearby forest. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. A sleek, metallic structure, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Ilara had always been fascinated by the unknown, and this was an opportunity she couldn't pass up. Without hesitation, she grabbed her bow and set out into the forest, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. As she approached the landing site, she noticed the air around the object crackling with energy, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to hum with life. The closer she got, the more she realized that this was no ordinary event. Whatever had landed here was not from Earth. Ilara carefully approached the object, her senses alert. She circled it, examining its smooth surface and strange markings. It was then that she noticed a faint sound coming from within, a low, rhythmic pulse that seemed to resonate with the beating of her own heart. Her curiosity got the better of her, and she reached out to touch the object. The moment her fingers brushed the surface, a door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a dark interior. Ilara hesitated for a moment, but her sense of adventure won out. She stepped inside, her bow at the ready, and was immediately enveloped in darkness. The door closed behind her, and she felt the ground shift beneath her feet as the object began to move. The encounter. Ilara's heart raced as she felt the object lifting off the ground, carrying her away from her village and into the unknown. She gripped her bow tightly, her mind racing with possibilities. What had she gotten herself into? Was this some kind of trap, or was it an invitation to something greater? The darkness around her slowly gave way to a soft, ambient light, revealing a small chamber filled with strange devices and controls. The air was filled with a faint, metallic scent, and the walls seemed to pulse with energy. Ilara's eyes were drawn to a large, translucent screen that dominated one wall. As she watched, the screen flickered to life, displaying a series of unfamiliar symbols and images. Before she could make sense of what she was seeing, the screen shifted, revealing the image of a tall, slender figure with large, luminous eyes. The figure was clearly not human, but there was something about it that felt familiar, almost comforting. It spoke in a language Ilara didn't understand, but the tone was gentle, almost soothing. As the figure continued to speak, Ilara felt a strange sensation wash over her, as if the words were being translated directly into her mind. She began to understand the message. The figure was a traveler, an explorer from a distant world. It had come to Earth in search of knowledge, and it had chosen Ilara as its guide. The idea of being chosen for such a task filled Ilara with a mixture of pride and apprehension. She had always dreamed of adventure, of exploring the unknown, but this was beyond anything she had ever imagined. Still, the curiosity that had driven her to investigate the object in the first place now urged her to accept the offer. She nodded, signaling her agreement. The journey begins. The figure on the screen seemed pleased with her decision. The chamber around her began to glow with a soft, warm light, and Ilara felt the object. The ship began to move again. This time, it was more controlled, more purposeful. The screen shifted once more, showing a view of the forest from above as they ascended into the sky. Ilara watched in awe as the landscape below her changed from dense forest to rolling hills, and then to vast plains. She had never seen her world from this perspective, and it filled her with a sense of wonder and possibility. The ship moved swiftly, covering vast distances in a matter of minutes, and soon they were flying over a barren, rocky landscape that Ilara didn't recognize. The figure on the screen spoke again, this time showing her images of the place they were heading, a remote area deep within the mountains, where a great power lay hidden. The traveler explained that this power had the potential to change the course of history, but it was also dangerous and unstable. It needed someone with courage and wisdom to help contain it, and that person was Ilara. As the ship descended toward the hidden valley, Ilara felt a surge of determination. She had always been a protector of her village, but this was a chance to do something greater, something that could benefit not just her people, but the entire world. She steeled herself for the challenges ahead, ready to face whatever dangers awaited her. The hidden valley. The ship landed gently in the heart of the hidden valley, and the door slid open once more. Ilara stepped out into the cool mountain air, her eyes scanning the unfamiliar terrain. The valley was unlike anything she had ever seen, a desolate, windswept place, dominated by towering rock formations and strange, glowing crystals that pulsed with an eerie light. The traveler appeared beside her, no longer just a figure on a screen, but a physical presence. It gestured for her to follow, leading her deeper into the valley. As they walked, Ilara noticed that the ground beneath their feet was covered in strange symbols, etched into the rock. The symbols seemed to shift and change as they moved, as if reacting to their presence. They soon arrived at the center of the valley, where a massive ancient structure loomed. It was a pyramid, made of the same glowing crystal that dotted the landscape, and it radiated a powerful, almost overwhelming energy. The traveler explained that this was the source of the power they had come to find, a power that could either save or destroy their world, depending on how it was used. Ilara felt a deep sense of responsibility as she approached the pyramid. She knew that her actions here could have far-reaching consequences, and she was determined to make the right choices. The traveler guided her to the entrance, a narrow passageway that led deep into the heart of the structure. Without hesitation, Ilara stepped inside, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The challenge within. Inside the pyramid, the air was thick with energy, and Ilara could feel it buzzing against her skin. The walls were lined with more of the strange symbols, glowing softly in the dim light. As she ventured deeper into the structure, she noticed that the symbols were becoming more complex, more intricate, as if telling a story that she was only beginning to understand. The traveler walked beside her, its presence a comforting reminder that she was not alone in this journey. It explained that the power within the pyramid was protected by a series of trials, each designed to test her strength, wisdom, and resolve. Only by passing these trials could she gain control of the power and prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. The first trial was one of strength. Ilara found herself in a chamber filled with towering stone pillars, each one blocking her path. She realized that she would have to move the pillars, using only her own physical strength, to clear the way forward. It was a daunting task, but Ilara was not one to back down from a challenge. Drawing on every ounce of strength she had, she began to push against the pillars, one by one. It was slow, grueling work, but she refused to give up. Her muscles burned with effort, and sweat poured down her face, but she kept pushing, determined to prove herself worthy of the task at hand. Finally, after what felt like hours, she cleared the last pillar and stepped into the next chamber. The trial of wisdom. The next trial was one of wisdom. Ilara found herself in a vast library, filled with ancient books and scrolls. The traveler explained that the knowledge contained within these texts was the key to unlocking the power of the pyramid, but it was also a test. She would have to decipher the right combination of symbols and words to unlock the final chamber. Ilara spent what felt like days poring over the texts, her mind racing to make sense of the complex symbols and patterns. She knew that one wrong move could spell disaster, but she also knew that she couldn't let fear cloud her judgment. She focused on the task at hand, drawing on all the knowledge she had gained over the years, and finally she found the solution. With a sense of triumph, she placed the final symbol in the correct position, and the library around her began to shift and change. The walls melted away, revealing the entrance to the final chamber. Ilara took a deep breath, steeling herself for the final challenge, and stepped forward. The final confrontation. The final chamber was a vast, open space, dominated by a swirling vortex of energy. The traveler explained that this was the heart of the pyramid, the source of the power they had come to contain. But there was one final challenge that Ilara would have to face. The energy itself was alive, and it would not be easily tamed. As she approached the vortex, Ilara felt a surge of energy pulse through her, filling her with a sense of power and possibility. But she also felt the danger. The energy was wild and uncontrollable, and it would take all her strength and determination to contain it. She closed her eyes, focusing on the lessons she had learned from the trials, and began to channel the energy, guiding